All right, welcome to this explainer on political theory's absolute most crucial chapter, justice. We're going to break down everything you need to crush your BA Semester 1 university exams. This is literally the foundational stuff for anyone studying political science, and honestly, it's pretty fascinating to unpack. Let's get right into it. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with what is justice, move into procedural justice, tackle John Rawls' theory, look at global justice, and wrap up with those all-important exam questions. Let's kick things off with a question to get the gears turning. Is justice just punishing criminals, or is it treating every single person out there exactly identically? You know, we hear the word justice thrown around all the time in daily life, but the actual true meaning, it's way broader and honestly a lot more interesting than just basic punishment or strict uniformity. Okay, picture a highly practical scenario. Imagine a teacher grading two students. Now, grading them strictly based on the actual quality of their answers, that's a perfect, everyday example of justice. It's objective, it's based on merit. But on the flip side, giving higher marks to a student just because of their personal identity or who they happen to know, that is a clear injustice. It's a simple comparison for sure, but it perfectly grounds the whole conversation we're about to have. Which brings us to Section 1. What exactly is justice? So, on a formal level, justice means treating every person fairly and equally, making sure they get opportunities that match their specific rights and abilities. Think about it. It's not just about enforcing rigid rules just for the sake of it. It's about proper, humane treatment, meaning everyone gets a fair shot based on their inherent rights as a human being. We can actually break that definition down into a few core pillars. The defining features of justice include basic fairness and equality, the absolute protection of individual rights, a really deep respect for the law, and ultimately promoting overall social welfare. Bottom line, if any of those elements are missing from a society, true justice just hasn't been achieved. Moving on to Section 2, procedural justice. Stepping back from individual actions like that grading example, let's look at how big institutions handle fairness. Enter procedural justice. This dictates that the actual process of making decisions absolutely has to be transparent, unbiased, and strictly follow the law. It is exactly what it sounds like, right? Justice found in the procedure itself. It tells us we can't just look at the final outcome. We have to look at the integrity of how you actually got to that outcome. In the real world, procedural justice means giving every party an equal chance to speak their mind and present their case. It means guaranteeing unbiased judgments from authority figures and making absolutely sure that laws apply to everyone equally, regardless of social status, wealth, you name it. The idea is, if the process is totally fair, the outcome should theoretically be just. But here is the thought-provoking question that kind of turns this whole idea on its head. What happens if the legal procedure is followed perfectly, flawlessly, but the laws themselves are fundamentally unjust or biased? Just following the rules to the letter isn't going to cut it if the rulebook itself is completely broken, right? That brings us right to Section 3, John Rawls' theory. To tackle that massive question about unfair laws, we have to look at the societal level. John Rawls, a huge name in political theory, famously distilled this entire super complicated concept of justice down to one single powerful word: fairness. For Rawls, if a system isn't fundamentally fair right from its inception, it just cannot be just, no matter how strictly those daily procedures are followed. Now, to actually achieve this foundational fairness, Rawls proposed two main principles. First up, the principle of equal liberty. This basically dictates that everyone must have the exact same basic rights and freedoms, period. And second, he introduced a really groundbreaking idea he called the difference principle. Listen up, because this is a crucial point for your exams. The difference principle argues that social and economic inequalities are only ever justified if they actually end up benefiting the weakest and most vulnerable members of society. In other words, if someone has a lot more wealth or power, that imbalance is only fair if the whole system uses that wealth to lift up the people at the very bottom. Think progressive taxation, funding public schools. It's a profoundly compassionate way to look at how we structure society. Next up, Section 4, global justice. Expanding our circle one last time, let's look way beyond our own borders. Global justice is all about taking these exact same principles of fairness and applying them worldwide. It's about ensuring fair treatment between different nations, actively protecting human rights across the globe, aggressively reducing global poverty and inequality, and fostering international peace and cooperation. It recognizes that in our modern, super interconnected world, where supply chains and climate change literally affect us all, Justice just cannot stop at a country's borders. Finally, Section 5, Important Exam Questions. All right, now that we've covered the micro, macro, and global levels of this theory, let's focus on how you're going to apply it. Here are the 5 highly anticipated exam questions you absolutely need to be ready to answer. Number 1, clarify the meaning and concept of justice. 2, define procedural justice. 3, explain John Rawls' theory. 4, what do you understand by global justice? And 5, write a short note on the relationship between justice and equality. Master those 5 prompts, and I promise you, you have truly mastered this chapter.
To lock all this into your brain for test day, just use a really simple trick, JRG. It'll help you recall the core flow of everything we just talked about. J stands for justice and its core concepts. R is for Rawls' theory of fairness. And G, that stands for global justice. JRG. Keep that simple acronym in your back pocket, and you're going to easily structure your thoughts and ace those exam answers.
As we wrap up this explainer, I'd love for you to think about one final question to keep that learning momentum going. Which political theory chapter do you personally find the absolute most challenging, and why? Let that reflection guide your continued studies. You've got this. Thanks so much for joining me to break down these incredible concepts today.